I just want to make this video about making sure that we're congruent with the things that we want, the things we desire, and these dreams that we have inside our heart. Because whenever there's a mismatch between that heart's desire and the way we want things to be, and our thinking, choosing, acting, believing, and feeling, then there's always this deep sense of being in lack or separate from what we want. So the key ingredient in conscious creation of your life is you. There's nothing else. There's no one else here that's able to come and make what we want a reality. So what we have to do is make sure that we are basically creating a character, a version of ourselves that's up to the task of fulfilling our dreams. And every single one of us has the potential to change our personality. We all have the potential to change who we are being and to align it with someone that's up to the task of completing the job at hand. And I know, because I've worked with hundreds of people over the last 10 years. And as you know, if you've read my book Limitless, you know in my own life that I just started being someone else when I came out of my coma, because the old me created the old life. And the only way change was going to happen, the only way I was going to be able to follow these things that I've dreamed of following since I was a little boy, was to be someone else, to become someone else, the personality that's up to the task. So this is a choice that we have in any moment, because the emotions we feel in the body, they're adaptable, they change, and your brain's completely plastic. So there's literally wiring in our head, so I mean neurological networks, anatomical structures in our brain that carry out the function of the personality known as you. Okay, so for us to think in certain ways and choose and act and carry out these behaviors and hold beliefs about the world, fundamentally from a neurological point of view, this is wiring in the brain that accommodates the personality. But our brain is completely adaptable and plastic, and it becomes highly, highly plastic when you have experiences that are outside of your comfort zone. When you're in the unknown, unfamiliar places, the brain starts to produce nerve growth factor, which is what's required for the plasticity and the maintenance and the function of the brain being able to do what it needs to. So to say that we can't change is pretty much to say that we can't think differently, and we can't feel differently, and we can't choose differently. But that's not the case. We can make conscious choices that steer us in better directions in our life. And I've seen hundreds of people do it. And I've personally been able to do it in my own life. But the old you is actually something that it's almost like an addiction that we have to the old self, because when the brain is sending electrochemical signals through these neural nets, it's also following the law of conservation of momentum and energy. So it follows the path of least resistance. So you could almost look at our personality as, extremely well hardwired neurological patterns in the brain, and familiar emotions, familiar feelings that are being produced in the body over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. And the more we keep thinking the same way and choosing the same way, the brain hardwires those circuits more and more and insulates them more and more with what's known as myelin. and myelin allows the neurons to be carrying that impulse faster and better, because a well-insulated neuron can zip that impulse down it a lot quicker and a lot more effectively. So it's not a simple process to change your life. There is friction ultimately that arises because we've become conditioned to who we are currently being. To move in the direction of things that frighten us, as the name suggests, it's scary. It feels uncomfortable. I felt so uncomfortable, and for quite a while, for a couple of years of my life, going to new places, trying new things, new social groups, learning how to care for myself and feed my needs in positive ways rather than with alcohol or drugs or whatever it may be, whatever addiction was pulling at me at the time. And I've been through them all. I've done everything. I've searched for inner peace in every space imaginable, and I've been down every road. And the only time that I've found inner peace and joy for existence was when I was living my love, when I was actually constructively and proactively behaving congruently with what I dream and what I desire. And it's not about being there. It's not like, oh, now I'm the successful entrepreneur, or now I'm this, or now I've got 4 million subscribers on Instagram, or whatever. It's that when you're aligned to your passion and your desire, there's so much, it's so rewarding to be aligned to your purpose, just to be on the path, the quest, the endeavor, the journey that we all signed up for when we came here into physical form, into matter, having this thing called life. So what I've noticed with a lot of people, myself in the past, is when what you want in your heart, and even if you have a sense that it's your birthright or something like your purpose that's meant to come through you, when we keep giving up on that and making decisions that are counter to the realization of the dream, we slowly descend into lack of self-worth, a lack of belief, a lack of love, imploding into depression and worsening, the crap feelings that we feel inside. But back to what I said at the start of the video, that everyone has a limitless ability to change their state of being. So your consciousness and your choices each day, we get to choose that the more we awaken. And ultimately the timeline, when it comes to pass, no one can say that. There's no guru or spiritual teacher or anyone that has that answer for you, but just slowly chipping away at that iceberg and knowing that you're being congruent with who you are and what you really desire. And yeah, it's tough. And we fall down a million times and other people judge us. We get abused. We get treated like crap by other sentient beings. But what I've found is when we are in the act of creation and are moving towards that desire, we're moving the needle in the right direction, there is so much strength that gets born out of that. It's nurturing to yourself, and we're able to feel the heightened emotions. We're able to feel that joy, even in the struggles, even in the roadblock, the dead end road, the no through road that's right there, and you're like, okay, I've got to change again, I've got to adapt again. But there's something to be said about one foot in front of the other when we are pursuing our expression into this world, our dream, our heart, what we were born to do. Every single one of us has come here to realize that inner burning dream in some way, whatever way is right for you. I can't say what's right for you. And just by being aligned to that, a lot of this other stuff just goes straight out the window. The mental health issues and all of that stuff. So the key is, back to the start of the video, you have to change your personality. The question is, that vision I have of myself, how would they be behaving? Because if you secretly dream of writing children's books or starting some incredible foundation that helps, youth struggling or the underprivileged or whatever it may be, but you're out at 4 a.m. on a Saturday night at the bar or in the casino, at the blackjack table, under the influence of whatever, there's a deep mismatch here. There's a big incongruency, because you need to be thinking, choosing, acting in line with the person that is up to the challenge of creating whatever that is for you, whatever that dream is. Sailing or carpentry or no one else can tell you what that is. That's you know what's in your heart. So we've got to ask those questions. How would they think? Where would they be on a Saturday night? What time are they waking up on a Sunday morning? What sort of people would this future version of you be associating with? And then when you get that down on paper and you get clear on it, this is exactly what I did to become a different human being and to heal my brain and body and follow my heart's desire, my dreams. So these videos ultimately are just the way I can now give back, because I know the exact steps across the pond, that you have to walk. But you have to be willing, and I had to surrender your current personality. You got to give up a piece of your limited self, the you right now. And I say limited because if you are distant from joy, inner peace, and pursuing some sort of goal, it's not about the end result, it's just being on the quest, like I said, then the thinking, choosing, acting, feeling, and believing that we are currently adopting, it is limiting us. That's why I always say, if you've got a belief and it limits your ability to feel that inner peace or be an incredible friend or brother, father, sister, mother, just let it go, because a belief is a bunch of neural nets. That's it. It's just some wiring in the brain that's been put there at a previous point in time. You can just let it go. You can choose to think greater than the limitation. So that's today's video. If you want to find out more, if you need more support, DamienHorton.com, one-on-one coaching, live events coming up, DamienHorton.com/workshops. Register your interest and you'll be the first notified. And link below to my book, Limitless, so you can find out how you do it, the exact steps and mindset, what it takes, and Spotify for the music lovers. That's it. Peace.